everyone. You're very welcome to your chair yoga class this morning. You'll need your chair to sit on, obviously, something to pop your feet onto so that only if your feet don't connect with the floor when you're sitting on your chair. So a couple of books, or if you have a bolster or some cushions you'd like to pop your feet on. And if you're not using a yoga mat, you'll just need a wall so that later on you can use a wall for some support with your chair when you come to standing. So for the initial few minutes of the practice this morning, we're going to start with a guided meditation. So you want to get yourself nice and comfortable on your chair. If you prefer to sit on your sofa or lie on your sofa, so long as it's nice and firm and your body is going to be supported, you might choose to do that either. So take a moment or two to settle yourself wherever you'd like to be. Make sure that you'll be nice and warm. So you might like to have a blanket over your knees or around your shoulders, particularly in the beginning. And then take a moment or two to come to settle. Wherever you're choosing to rest for now, notice all of the points of connection between your body and the supports. So noticing where your feet are resting against support, if they are. Noticing the backs of the legs making contact with the seat of your chair, or perhaps your sofa, maybe even your bed. Notice where the back of the body, your back, middle back in particular is making contact. If you're resting on a sofa or your head is resting against a wall or some support, noticing the connection at the back of the head. And wherever the body is resting and supported by a surface, allow yourself to really give your weight and to release yourself fully to that surface. And that includes the hands, the arms, if they're resting alongside another part of your body, perhaps on your thighs or on your belly. Notice the heaviness of the body and the firmness, the support behind you as those connections become a little deeper, a little stronger, and you allow yourself to be held by your support. And then notice the front of the body and all parts of the body that aren't connecting with support. So around the face, around your torso, the fronts of your thighs, the shins, the tops of the feet. Noticing any spaciousness here. Or perhaps what you're noticing is the connection or the contact between any parts of the body that are covered with a blanket, a little weight that you might sense into from that. Any parts of the body that are covered by clothing. Notice the connection, the contact between your clothing and the skin. And then perhaps the parts of the body that are absolutely free, are absolutely available to the energy and space around you without anything covering them. So the face in particular, particularly the parts of the face that aren't connecting with your hair. Noticing the lightness, the front of the body, and then the connection and the weightiness as the back of the body rests into your supports. Allow your awareness to meet your breath, to find your breath. And then noticing the coming and the going of your breath. Noticing on the inhalations where the breath is coming into the body and where it's moving to in the body. And then your exhalations, noticing the release as the breath makes its way back out. And just for a few moments, allowing your awareness to rest lightly but with focus on this coming and going of breath. And just tracing the breath as it moves into the body. Where does it come in? Where does it end? Where does it go to? And then the exhalations, from the beginning of the exhalation to the end of the exhalation, what's happening in the body in response. Notice what's happening in the front of the body and the sides of the body, in particular the area between your collarbone and your navel. As you inhale, tune into and sense into that energetic expansion and that slight movement outwards to the sides and to the front as the breath comes in and the body expands. And on the exhalations, notice the front of the body resting back towards the spine and back in towards your supports, and the sides of the body moving back in towards center. And travel with that for a breath or two. The lovely expansion on the inhalations and the resting on the exhalations. The in-breath is nourishing your entire system, revitalizing, re-energizing you. And there's that lovely connection outwards, movement outwards, expanding out into the energy of the space around you and connecting you out into the energy of the world around you. And now notice the back of the body as you inhale, so particularly your back, your space between the shoulder blades, perhaps down to the base of your diaphragm, your rib cage. And as you inhale, notice how the back of the body presses a little bit more firmly into the supports behind you, beneath you. And then as you exhale, there's that gentle release from that support, and it's absolutely tiny little micro movement as the back of the body moves back towards center again. And there's a very gentle release from the support behind you. Flow with that for a moment or two, allowing your awareness to rest here. And then allow your awareness to focus on all of the parts of this middle of the body, the torso, that are moving in response to the breath coming and going. So the front and the back body expanding on the inhalations as the sides, the diaphragm move outwards towards the arms, and then everything softening and releasing back to center, releasing back inwards again. So noticing the outward expansion, the deepening of connection on the inhalations, and then that journey back home, that journey back towards your own center on your exhalations. And as you start now for the next few breaths to perhaps call to mind or bring to awareness your sankalpa for your practice this morning, your intention for your practice this morning, and what qualities you would like the energy of your practice to support you with, both during your practice and as you move back out into your day and into your week afterwards. So, what qualities do you need to call in to support you at this time? Might be something around ease, calm, rest, balance, acceptance, flexibility, stability. Just some of the aspects that we we bring in and that we benefit from on a physical level in our practice can also be really beneficial to us on mental and emotional levels. So as you inhale and the body is expanding and connecting outwards into the energy of the space around us and deepening the connection between our supports, the back of the body and our supports, just almost allow those inhalations to represent the qualities that you would like to call in, the intention that you would like to call in to support yourself this morning and then just during this time in general. And on the exhalations, I'm just thinking about the exhaling breath as the cleansing breaths, the releasing breaths, the breaths where we move back inwards and back towards home. Perhaps have a little consideration towards what you would like to release during your practice this morning and what it is that you'd like to move away from or release in your day-to-day as you move back into your world after our practice this morning. And that might be, you imagine that exhalation is moving back in towards center and moving away from that sort of external stimulus around us and back in towards this quiet and calm within. Do you need to release some stress, some anxiety, some cares, worries, concerns? Do you perhaps need to remember to detach from time to time from following social media and the news and constant flooding our systems with concerns from the outside world? And you need to just maybe move back inwards with your breath from time to time, knowing that you can connect back out, you can tune back in and plug back into any of those external stimulus whenever you choose. But it's just as important, particularly at the moment, that we move away from some of those external stressors and we remind ourselves to do that. So maybe there's something specific that you want to invite the energy of your practice to support you to detach from a little, even momentarily, or to release a little. Allow your exhalations to symbolize and to represent some of that releasing and moving back in towards your center. So your inhalations from now on are going to symbolize and support the calling in, whatever it is that you'd like to support you, and the exhalations will support the release. So we'll have 1 or 2 more breaths here. Nice long, nurturing, supportive breaths. Deep, slow, releasing, softening exhalations. And then we're going to invite a sighing breath or 2 into the body. We'll invite the shoulders and a little movement in the shoulders into this just to support the release. So as you inhale next, bringing the shoulders up towards your ears and then rolling them around behind you and releasing your elbows back towards your hips. Nice full inhalation as the shoulders come up and then rolling around, releasing behind and just dropping the shoulders to support a sighing exhalation. And then 1 more of these. Take a moment or 2 just to tune into the impact of that on the body, noticing how it's feeling, and just checking. Do you want to maybe have 1 or 2 more of those before we continue on with our practice? And that's a really nice way to release tension from the body in general. So as you go through the day, if you find yourself just feeling a little bit tense or a little bit like you're a little bit tight in yourself or feeling a bit anxious, bring the shoulders up towards the ears, rolling around and dropping them a couple of times is a really nice way just to invite the body to sigh out. And your sighing breath is that cleansing breath, that deep sigh out generally invites a longer breath in, which helps to lengthen the overall inhalation. The more you bring in, the more there is to release, and it just helps to bring the system into a little bit of balance. So as you next exhale, I'm just going to invite you to release your chin towards your chest. Don't force it towards your chest, just allow the weight of your head to lengthen the neck and to lengthen the cervical spine. When you're ready to inhale again, nice and slowly, lifting your gaze, looking forwards. And really slowly with this so that you're not bringing any dizziness into the system. Nice full inhalation here. And as you exhale, we're going to travel around to the left side with the head, the face, the nose, the chin. You can do this lying if you're lying down still. Round towards the shoulder. And then releasing nice and slowly on your inhalation back towards center. And you cannot move too slowly with this. So trace the length of the breath with your movement. And if you want to take 1 or 2 breaths to get back to center, allow yourself that. Take a nice full centering inhalation when you're back at center. And then exhaling out to the right side in your own time. Imagine yourself like a swan gliding along a lake as you're gently drifting over to the side. And then when you're ready to inhale, releasing nice and slowly back towards center. So it's really a drifting, gliding motion rather than a turning of the head. And we're going to go one more time out to the left side. So pause for the exhalation. We'll take a full breath actually back at center just to ground yourselves and make sure you're nice and connected. And then when you next exhale, start the journey back out to the left side. See, can you slow it down a little bit this time? So perhaps it takes an extra breath to get across. Pause on your exhale, on your inhalation, pardon. And then when you're ready to exhale again, continue out towards that shoulder. Remember, I'm always a step ahead in terms of talking, so I can provide guidance for you to follow. So don't rush from where you are to where I'm speaking about. Just follow in your own time. And then here, when you're ready on an inhalation, start the journey back towards center. So you can really slow it down, so perhaps it takes 2 breaths to get back. You pause on your exhale when that breath is ready to take its turn, and then continue on the inhalation back to center. Have your exhalation here at center. Your inhalation again, a nice long, full, deep inhalation. And then on your exhalation, starting the journey out to the right side. And again, see, can you really slow down this movement, make it really mindful so that you have to pause halfway as you inhale and refuel. And then continue the journey on your exhalation all the way out towards that shoulder. Pause on the inhalation and the exhalation. When you next inhale, start the return back to center. Again, see, can you slow it down so that it's going to take you 2 breaths to get back. Or if you were taking 2 already, it might be taking you 3 to get back. So just add a breath to the length of time. So you pause as you exhale, and then you continue as you inhale back towards center. When you get back towards center, release your chin towards your chest again as you exhale. Have a full breath here, a full inhalation, a full exhalation. And then when you're ready to inhale again, lifting your gaze, gently looking forwards. And if you left your practice chair to go sit in an armchair or go sit on the sofa, it's time to return now to the chair that you're going to practice in. So if you can just invite yourself back there and get yourself nice and settled in your space and in your chair. You might like to leave the blanket, if you have a blanket on your knees or on your legs, you might like to leave it there just so that you're stay nice and warm for a little while. And we're going to bring a little bit of nice slow movement now into our practice. So just make sure that you're sitting nice and tall. I take a moment to release the flesh from around your sit bones so that you can really root down into your seat, into the seat of your chair. And then press down with your hips, press down so that you can lengthen the spine here. And you allow the back to meet the back of the chair again. And we're going to inhale. We're going to take our palms forward and our shoulder blades back towards each other at the back of the body. And then sit slightly forwards from your chair and allow a little rounding in your lower back here. So we're doing a seated cat-cow here. And this is your cow or your counter-cat variation. And then when you're ready to exhale, we're going to bring the arms forward and rotate the palms in towards the side of the body. And then release the shoulders forward. Our head is towards the space between your legs. A little rounding here in your upper spine. On your inhalation, we're going to roll around with those hands again, bringing the palms to face forward, thumbs moving back behind you, shoulder blades together, lift from the sternum, and now a little lengthening all the way down your spine, a little release of the lower back here. Your gaze is slightly towards the ceiling with the wall in front of you. And when you're ready to exhale, we're going to take the arms around, thumbs in towards the sides of the legs. Don't collapse forwards with it. So don't collapse your chest to your navel, beaming your heart space, your chest out towards the floor in front of you. And then once more into your counter cat on your next inhalation. And then just show you from the side here. So when I come into my counter cat, I'm allowing a little rounding in my lower back. And when I'm coming into my cat, I'm allowing a rounding in my shoulders. Inhaling, lengthening, or I'm allowing this flexibility into my lower back as I come into my counter cat. And then that rounding of the shoulders, but I'm not collapsing forwards. The rounding comes with a long spine and then coming back into your counter cat and then back to a neutral place. And in your neutral place, you're not overarching your lower back. So navel towards spine and your sit bones and tailbone back towards the floor behind you. So just releasing out the entire spine there in nice, bringing a bit of flexibility and mobility. We're going to take our arms out to the sides, so hands facing forwards, nice active hands, so not floppy hands, fingers stretched as far apart as possible. And as we inhale nice and slowly for the length of your inhalation, bringing the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale nice and slowly, tracing your breath, showing the length of your exhalation all the way back towards the floor. We'll do a couple more of those. So inhaling all the way up. And then exhaling all the way back down again. And then we're going to just notice as we come up on the inhalation, when you reach the peak of the inhalation, there's a tiny little natural pause at the end of your breath before the exhalation takes its place. And that's our moment of stillness up here. And when the exhalation is ready, we're going to make our way back down towards the earth again. We're going to rest into that pause that's at the end of the exhalation before the inhalation comes back in. And we're going to continue up. Now you continue that journey. I'm going to show you what would happen if we didn't rest into that pause. When you come to the peak of your inhalation, you come straight back down. And then you come straight back up and straight back down. That's aerobics, that's not yoga. So in yoga, we work with the breath, and when the breath is still, we're still. When the breath is active, we're active. So you can release the arms. Now when you come back down the next time with the fingertips towards the floor, we're going to bring a little rolling of the shoulders into the joint, rolling in the ball and socket joint. So take the hands so that they're about a foot away from the body. And then we're going to roll and rotate the arms all the way around. So the tops of the hands are now in towards the chair as we exhale. And when we inhale, we're going to roll all the way around to the other side. So again, I'm going to come to the side of my chair just to show you this, what's happening here with the shoulders. Maybe even turn from behind. We're literally rolling the arms and the shoulders in their joints, and that's giving us a nice little healing of the joints there, a nice little bit of flexibility. And as always, you're going to do what's comfortable for you. So this might be as far as you want to come on the way in, and this might be as far as you want to come out. You're going to just work with that. So we're keeping the spine nice and long. We're not rounding the upper back here. Everything is nice and long, and we're just rolling here into the joints. And then we're going to take a little shake into the arms and a little shake into the body just to release that out. A little rolling with the shoulders up. And then back around behind us, just moving a little bit quicker this time. Or you can do it nice and slowly if you like. And then just come to rest for a moment, lean back into your chair, have a nice little inhalation. And then a nice exhalation. Lovely. So we're going to take the arms again, stretch out the fingers, lengthen out the fingers here, and as you inhale, bring the palms up towards the ceiling. So our fingertips are in line with your shoulders, so no higher. They may be a bit lower if your arms don't want to come all the way up here. And then release your shoulders away from your ears. If you're bunching up like this, you mightn't even recognize it. So release the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to do that same movement. So as we exhale, we'll rotate the palms towards the ceiling and back around behind us. And then as we inhale, we move back towards the ceiling and back behind us. I think I said ceiling when I should have said floor the last time. So rolling around towards the floor and then back behind us. And then on your next breath, round in the opposite direction. Now leave your right arm where it is and roll your left palm down and around. And for your next breath, we're going to swap sides. We're going to move both arms together, but they're moving in different directions. So you take your shoulders back a little, your shoulder blades towards each other, and you're just getting a lovely little manipulation there and rotation and a bit of stretching all the way in towards your spine. Lovely. Now we take both hands towards the ceiling. As we inhale, we take the hands all the way up. Lift out of your waist, and you can lengthen with the fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling, and then release your shoulders again so that we're creating space for the neck. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the hands down towards the floor. And release the arms here. And just start to notice the energy now, the energy in the arms, the energy across the belly. So all of this movement, we're working with the muscles in the arms, we're working with flexibility in the joints, but what we're also doing is we're inviting a little bit of activity into the core and then release of energy in the belly. So we're going to do one more exercise with the arms this morning, and then we'll move on to give the rest of the body a little bit of a release as well. So I invite you to bring your palms forwards and take the arms to a V shape. Wrap the arms around the body and wrap all the way around so that you come to give yourself a little bit of a hug. And then you might like to give yourself a little bit of a massage into the shoulders or the scapula or wherever you're making contact. Particularly if you haven't given somebody a hug lately or there hasn't been anybody available to you to give a hug because of social distancing, enjoy this hug to yourself. We can still make contact with ourselves. The body doesn't necessarily know it's you hugging you and not somebody else. And when we inhale, we're going to release all the way back up into our lovely V. Your V can be a bit of a heart shape if you want to make it into a heart shape. Send yourself some love. And this time we're going to take the other arm, the opposite arm around and top as we give ourselves that hug. So release your chin in the direction of your heart, your head to your heart. A nice little inhalation. And as you exhale, release. Bring your arms, hands all the way towards the floor. We're going to do our shoulder roll again here. As we inhale, we're going to bring the shoulders up towards the ears and back around behind us. And then we're going to come from behind, so come back around the back of the body towards the shoulders, or towards the ears, and then down in the front. Inhale up, and back around behind us, releasing towards the waist, and then up towards the ears, forwards, and releasing forwards there. Invite lovely openness across your heart space, and then release the arms. So we're going to bring a little lengthening now into the side body. So I would say hold on to the side, the left side of your chair with your hands. You might be holding onto the seat, or it might be, I'm using folding chairs, so there's kind of the crossbar. It might be whatever is on your chair that you can hold on to here with your left hand. You're going to sit forwards very slightly, maybe an inch from the back of the chair, and then take your right hand to your waist and the elbow back. And not taking the elbow back just gives us length across the heart space there. And then you're going to lift out of your seat with your, or lift out of your weight, out of your waist. So when I say the seat, I mean your bum as opposed to the seat of the chair. And as you exhale, you're going to lengthen over to the left side. So you might be able to take your hand down along with you. So we're keeping lovely openness here across the body, and we're inviting a stretch into the side body. Inhale back to center, and then take that to the other side so that your left hand is coming onto your left waist, your right hand is coming onto the chair or the seat. And as you exhale, you're lengthening across. So we're lengthening across with nice long spines. So we're not collapsing the spine, we're not leaning forwards, we're getting all the length, and then we're getting the full stretch into the side of the waist. We're going to come back to center with that. And then next time, you can either repeat that in the same way by keeping your right hand onto your right waist as the left hand moves down towards the floor, or if you wanted to, you could invite the right hand towards the ceiling in the direction of the ear and really stretch into that. And it's okay to lean back a little into the support of the chair, because it's the stretch in the side body that we're targeting here. Nice banana stretch, inhaling back to center in your own time, and then exhaling across. And again, you decide, do you want to take the hand onto the waist, or do you want to bring the arm stretch into it? So you're getting this lovely stretch in here. And back to center. And I mentioned a banana, so we have a little play with it. So we'll bring both of our arms up in your own time. Remember, don't finish what you're doing to catch up with me. If I'm moving ahead, just follow me in your own time. Lengthen the fingertips towards the ceiling, drop the shoulders away from the ears. And then as you exhale, maybe, so really root down with your sit bones, maybe both sides of the body, or both arms are moving over to the left side. And then in your own time, nice and slowly coming back to center, and then over to the other side. So lovely length there in the body, nice. Return to center, and then opening up and releasing back towards the floor with those arms as you exhale. We're going to bring a stretch now into the back. We're going to move in towards a forward bend. So again, just sit very slightly forwards on your seat so that your back is away from the support. We're going to invite that opening across the heart space where we bring the shoulders back, the shoulder blades towards each other. Avoid puffing out your diaphragm here. So your diaphragm is always moving towards your seat or towards the floor. And when you lift, you maybe take your hands onto your sternum. Actually, your sternum is up here, but onto the lower part of the breastbone at the top of the diaphragm. And then you lift out of the shoulders, lift the sternum, gazes towards the ceiling. We're going to bring our fingertips towards the floor. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to hinge forward from the hips so that your belly is coming towards your thighs. You can move your legs apart a little wider if you want the belly to come to the space in between. So you're keeping a nice long spine here. I'm going to turn sideways again to show you this. You're keeping a nice long spine, so you're not collapsing your upper back. And this is why we keep the arms slightly back. Your spine is nice and long. There's a nice long line from the crown of your head to your tailbone. You're not dropping your chin and breaking that connection. You're not rounding the shoulders and breaking that connection. We're keeping a nice long spine here. Hold that for a breath. And then as you inhale, we're going to take the hands forwards in front of you, and almost then, as though the hands moving towards the ceiling had some connections to a pulley on the ceiling that's lifting you back out. Release the arms alongside the body as you exhale. Lovely. And then fingertips towards the floor, lengthening the arms and opening across the heart space as you inhale. And as you exhale next, starting to hinge forward nice and slowly, nice long spine, belly towards the thighs. So your gaze is following the line of movement, so your gaze is slightly out in front of you. So you're not jutting forwards with your chin, crown of your head is in line with your tailbone. And then as you inhale, lengthen the arms forwards. And notice your thighs are working here as well to bring you back up towards sitting as you lengthen all the way up. And releasing the arms out to the side of the body and down towards the floor on your exhale. Bring your hips towards the floor as you inhale and lengthen the body. Belly moving forwards, hinging from the hips towards the thighs as you release forward into your forward bend. And this time, I let the belly connect fully with the thighs. You might need to bring the knees wide of your chest just so you can negotiate some space there. And this time we're going to release the shoulders. We're going to allow a little rounding this time in your thoracic spine. And release your chin towards your chest. And that gives you just a full release here for your spine, for your shoulders. You might feel that all the way back down to your lower back. Have a full inhalation here. As you exhale, sigh out, soften and surrender a little bit more towards your thighs. Surrender your heart towards the earth. And then whenever you're ready on an inhale, you're going to bring some activity into your arms. You're going to lengthen the arms forward. Start to allow your gaze to move to the space between the hands. And imagine that you're picking up lots of energy and nutrients and nurturants from the earth as you come all the way back up towards sitting. And as you exhale, almost bringing the fingertips towards each other above the crown of your head. Bathe yourself as you come down. And that lovely energy, that lovely nutrition, all of that lovely vitality from the earth. And release yourself back towards a resting point again. So we're going to come to sit. Now let me show you this first, and I'm going to move my chair sideways so that I can show you this, and then you can see if this option will suit you. So I'm trying to see which way is the best way to demonstrate, and I think if I'm this way, it might be the easiest to demonstrate. We're going to come to sit on the side of your chair. So I have my knees towards the left side of my chair at the moment. I'm going to hold on to both sides of the chair with my hands. Sit down with my sit bones, and then I'm going to turn my torso to look over my left shoulder here. And you can see that this is bringing a nice twist into the lower spine. Now you might only want to come to here, or you might go even further around than I have come. But I'm using and pressing against with my left hand, I'm pressing against the chair for leverage, and then I'm pulling against the chair with my right hand. So if I just try and do it without it, I'll get here, but with the chair, and give myself a little bit of an extra release around. And then as I inhale, I'm going to come back towards center. And that's what this would look like from the other side then. So I sit up, I have my hands here, so it's already turning my torso. I'm pulling with my left hand and pushing with my right hand to bring me around to maybe center. And then with my next exhalation, I'll see how deep do I want to go with this. The other option, if that doesn't suit you, if the chair doesn't feel supportive enough for that, would be the way we usually do it, where you might take your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind you, and twist around that way. So you get a slightly deeper twist for your thoracic spine, slightly more releasing for your thoracic spine on the side angle variation. So decide which of those suits you best right now. So I'm coming back to the side. I'm taking my hands on either side of the back of the chair. I'm using my hands to keep push and pull so that I can keep that opening from shoulder to shoulder. And then on an exhale, I'm going to go halfway around with my torso. I'm going to lengthen on the inhale, lift up. And then as I exhale, I'm going to take it around to the other side, look over that shoulder. Lengthen on the inhalation. And in your own time on the exhale, all the way back to center. Have a full inhalation and exhalation. And then in your own time, take it to the other side. So whichever way you're choosing to have your twist this morning. Sometimes this is the kind of thing that I just do by itself. Like at the kitchen table, if I feel like my back is tight or my back is tense, then I'm coming onto the side of my chair. Both of my hands are on the back of the chair. I'm twisting and turning halfway for an exhalation. I'm using my hands for leverage, and then I'm continuing across as far as I want to go. So I feel it all the way in my upper back in particular, with a nice twist down here. And this is a nice rinsing for the kidneys. On your exhalation, if you've had your twist, nice and slowly come back towards the center. When we twist in that way, when we bring any sort of twist into the body, it's like a rinsing, particularly for the kidneys. It's bringing mobility and flexibility to either end of the spine, and you're only ever going to go into it as far as is comfortable. So come back, have a nice full inhalation. The twist can be quite cleansing. And exhalation, exhaling, sighing out and softening. And this is where we're going to come to standing now at this point. So if you need to get a quick drink of water or anything, we're going to come towards standing. So I mentioned earlier that if you don't have a mat, a yoga mat to have your chair resting on, if you're on wooden floors or there's any danger that your chair is going to slide away from you if you lean on it, bring your chair to a wall. Yes, now I don't want to go to a wall and have my back to you. So this would be your wall. What's space in front of my chair would be the equivalent of your wall if you are doing this. And you just want to have your, maybe you have your iPad or your phone or whatever you're looking at me on the seat of your chair while you're doing this so that you can see what I'm doing. Or somewhere that you don't completely lose the visual, just in case you need the images and the sound to help. So we're going to come to standing first of all, behind your chair. Feet are hip width or so apart. You're going to lift and spread your toes and replace them to the floor. If you're wearing shoes, unless they're very flat and very comfortable, you might just want to kick them off. But just you'll know what's working for you. So knees soft, don't lock your knees. Hug in your outer hips towards each other, towards the center line of the body. And then tailbone nice and neutral, so it's not sticking out towards the wall behind you and it's not coming out towards the wall in front of you, just tailbone lengthening towards the floor. Nice length in your body, palms facing forwards and just inviting that openness that we've been working on in your heart space as well. And you're going to take your hands to the back of the chair. And we're just going to do a little bit of coming up onto the arches as we inhale. So lengthen up onto the balls of the feet, stretching out the arches here as you inhale, and as you exhale, nice and slowly release your heels to the floor. So inhaling and lengthening, toes all the way up towards, or toes not up anywhere, actually toes onto the floor, your heels up, and then down. So this is really good for the feet, really good for strengthening the toes, which are really good for your balance. Up on your inhalation, and then down on your exhalation. And then you might want to see, can you do this one foot at a time? So maybe you're taking the weight onto your right foot, and as you inhale, just hovering the left and coming up on the right. Or you could have the toes on the left just barely touching the floor and then down. So a little bit of balancing into it as well. And then swapping the other foot. It's also nice for the arches. You're working the legs. You're having to focus to do this, so it's quite calming for the nervous system. And then once more either side. And if it's too challenging to do the one foot at a time, and you prefer to do both feet, that's absolutely fine. And then up and down. Lovely. Walk a little bit away from your seat, so maybe a couple of steps, and take the feet a little bit wider. Lift and spread the toes again, and your feet are parallel. And you're just going to start bending your knees and sitting back as though you were sitting into a chair. So avoid having your knees come forwards over your toes. Try to keep your knees over your ankles. And if that means that you're like this rather than like this, it's preferable for your knees and for your ankles. So almost coming in towards a chair pose, standing up. Really press down with your big toes for this. And then inhale and lengthen. And then exhale, coming into a little sort of squat. And if that's not comfortable and you want to practice this at home later, what you could do is you could come up against the wall. And you can kind of sit down on your exhales and then slide up against the wall on your inhalation, straightening out your legs, sliding down on the exhales. So it's working on your calves and your thighs here. Not working on your calves, it's working on your thighs. And then maybe you'd sit against the wall like that for a moment or two, or maybe you'd sit here for a moment or two. So again, you have a nice long spine. Don't round the lower back. So crown the head to the tailbone is one nice long line. And you'll feel the thighs working here if you have a nice light grip onto your chair. And then inhale and stand. Move back towards your chair again. Find a nice grip, not grip as in holding on, but just nice contact and nice support here. And you're going to start to walk yourself back. And this is why it's really important that the chair is not going to either fall forwards or slide forwards on you. You're going to walk yourself back until we come into our half fold position, where your crown of your head is in line with your tailbone. Your arms are extended here. And don't pull the chair till you push it away. Push it forwards. And this is just a really nice release for your back. So I'm going to take my head so it's between my arms. So there's length between the crown of my head and my tailbone here. Invite the shoulders away from the chin, away from the earlobes. And just maintain that length there for a breath or two. So you're stretching into your hamstrings. You're stretching the back. You're stretching the arms here. Lovely. And then we're going to inhale, look forwards. You're going to invite your right foot forwards and then drop the heel on your left foot. Okay, push through here again. You might want to step back a little bit to maintain this nice long line. So on my left foot, I'm at a 45-degree angle with my foot. It's not back behind me like this. And if you want to do that, lift your heel a little bit. So what we're targeting here is a stretch on your right leg. So if your left leg is the one behind and you're not comfortable with that 45-degree angle with the foot flat on the floor, just take that leg back and you're coming more into a lunge with it if you take your heel off here. The stretch is for the thigh and the back of the hamstring here. So keep the knee nice and soft, leg nice and long. Inhale, look forwards, and then exhale, step forwards. Come away from your chair for a moment. Just stand nice and tall. Have a nice full inhalation, taking the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, release the arms down, and then find your chair again. Walk a little bit closer. You're going to step yourself back again, walk yourself back all the way to your half fold where your arms are extended fully. You have length from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And then you're going to step forward a little with your left foot and then back a little with your right foot. So coming towards this, we call it extreme stretch. So if you're not comfortable to have that right foot planted on the floor at a 45-degree angle, just step back a tiny bit more and lift your heel. So you're more of a lunge with that leg. Really, we're targeting the left leg here for the stretch. So you're going to keep that knee nice and soft. You're not going to lock it, but the leg is straight. And then you're pressing away with your hands and bringing your belly towards the thighs. So if you were doing this without the chair, it might look something like this. You might want to play with that, or you might want to take one hand behind you, the other hand on the chair. We're bringing a stretch here into the hamstrings, strengthening in for the legs. Lovely. And then we're going to inhale, look forwards, exhale, step forwards. Step away from the chair, fingertips towards the floor. And as we inhale, we take the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And exhale, and release. And you can do that as well with the wall. So rather than using a chair, if you wanted to practice that, stretching out for the back, this is the equivalent of doing a downward facing dog. You could use, pretend that the back of the chair here is the wall, and you'd be pressing your hands against the wall. I don't want to step it through that because you just end up like over your face, which is not very nice. So that can be the wall. This can be one variation, and then just step forward with one foot, step back with the other, and vice versa. You get a lovely stretch there for the hamstrings. So we're going to come to the side of the chair for your balance. So I'm going to start taking the weight onto my left foot. So my left leg is going to be to the right side of my chair. We've already prepped a little bit for balance by coming up and down onto our toes earlier. So I'm holding on to the right side of my chair with my left hand, taking the right hand to my waist and elbow back. So when we have the elbow out to the side, the shoulders forward, and when we bite the elbow back, we get this lovely opening here across our chest and our heart space. I'm going to just come up on my toes for a minute just to remind me. That's kind of the balance. You might take one hand away. That might be your balance. Take your fingertips back and then releasing back down here. Step back a bit so you can have a full view. And then I'm going to take the weight onto my left foot and lift my right foot. The moment I'm just hovering, I'm going to make a nice circle with my right foot. Just bring a little rotation there into my hip, and I'll take that in the opposite direction. Lovely. Then I'm going to lift my knee a little and come towards flexing my foot towards a 90-degree angle there with that leg, or whatever angle feels right for your body. As I inhale, I'm going to invite that leg, that knee out to the side. And as I exhale, back to center. And then just see, do you want to have either a much lighter hold with the fingertips on the left hand of the chair, or maybe take them away altogether. The chair is there if you want it for balance. Sometimes just even a nod to holding on, like one or two fingers just barely connecting, will give your nervous system the feeling that it is supported. And then I'm going to take the sole of the right foot to my left either ankle. I can even balance with my toes slightly on the floor there, or my calf. I'm going to take the right arm towards the ceiling, and maybe you might take away the left hand and come to a tree pose, or maybe just have that just gentle connection there for a little bit of balance. So you're in a hip opener here as well. If that's too much for your hip, then release the foot and just bring the knee to wherever it's more comfortable. And then as I exhale, I'm going to release everything to the floor. I'm going to release my hands. On an inhalation, I'll swoop the arms up. And on an exhalation, nice and slowly, I'm going to release. And then I'm going to take that to the other side. I'm going to move to the other side of my chair. So this time it's my right hand on the left side of the chair, left hand on my waist, elbow back. I'm going to start. You take your time, coming up on the toes. Just coming up on the toes. And then exhaling back down just once or twice, just to give my back knits off that. And again, that would be your balance. Maybe that's where you want to be playing with your balance. So I'm going to reach down now on my right foot and take the weight onto the right foot as I lift the leg, the left leg, toe flex. So toe flex helps to engage your leg muscles a little bit more, and it also slightly engages your core, whereas if you drop the foot or drop the toes, you're not really engaging, you're going to get more tired here quickly. As I inhale, I'm going to, well actually, first of all, we're going to make our little movements, our little rotational movements. So it's quite a functional movement here. And then just once or twice in each direction, these nice wide circles. You're already taking the weight onto one leg, so that in itself is a little balance, and maybe you do that with gentle connection, or lean on as firmly as you feel you need. And then I'm going to take my flexed foot and my knee to a 90-degree angle. I'm going to invite it out to the side as I inhale and back to center. As I exhale, again, you decide about the level of connection you want with this chair. Inhale out, or you could do a bit of wall either. And as I exhale, I'm going to bring the sole of that foot either to the calf or to the ankle. Again, you decide what your hip wants and where this knee is going to be, or if the foot connects at all. Inhaling, fingertips towards the ceiling. And maybe something happens with the right hand coming away, but it doesn't need to. So I could be holding on for dear life. I could be leaning into it quite firmly, or I could just have a couple of fingers lightly resting. And that often just gives the idea of balance. And maybe I take both my arms to the ceiling, or maybe I'm still holding on. So whatever is going to work for you, let the arms come down, release that leg, come back to standing. As you inhale, take the arms all the way up. As you exhale, nice and slowly release. And then we're going to come back to sitting on the chair for one moment. We're going to take a seated forward bend here again because it's just nice and releasing after all that. So inhaling, arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, hands come out to the side, hinge from the hips, belly towards the thighs. Release your heart center, your chest to the floor. Release your head to the earth, head to your heart. Just let the entire top of the body be heavy and soft and releasing. Take a nice full inhalation and a sighing exhalation. One more of those, nice full inhalation. Sighing exhalation, and an inhalation, bringing a little bit more energy into the body. Active hands and arms as the arms come to the side. Bring the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Nice and slowly. And then palms come to prayer position. We bring the hands down towards the center of the chest. Say namaste. Well done. Thank you for your movement practice. And then we're going to move towards our last few minutes of relaxation. So decide where you would like to be. Are you going to stay sitting on your chair? Do you want to take a second chair and have it in front of you so that maybe you can put your feet up and you can relax back into your chair? Do you want to get into your favorite armchair, or if you want to lie up on the sofa or lie on the floor, wherever your bed, wherever you are right now, and get yourself nice and comfortable for your relaxation. So I'm just going to change the music and give you some music that you can hear. So stretching out the entire body, a little bit of strength building there at the end for the legs, working on balance, bringing lots of mobility into the shoulders and the hips with those movements. That's a release for the neck and for the back. So all of the body getting a little relief there. And now it's the best part. Now it's our relaxation time. So I find my music. And allow yourself to start to settle. And we have our Jack Harrison and Sarve Sham for our last few minutes of rest and relaxation. So make sure that you're nice and warm. Cover yourself with a blanket. Make sure that your body is nice and supported, so that you'll be able to rest comfortably for the next few minutes. Allow your body to settle. And give your weight fully to your supports. Allow your awareness to find your breath, to meet your breath. Just allow yourself to glide with your breath, to float with your breath, flow with your breath as it comes and goes. Allow your breath to be nice and long, deep, slow and slow. Journeying with the breath, traveling with the breath, and allowing your awareness just to flow with the lovely, long, re-energizing, revitalizing inhalation, and then a cleansing, sighing, releasing exhalations. Allow your breath to be nice and long, deep, slow, and full. Inviting every inhalation to represent the calling in of your intentions, all that supports your well-being, your highest good. Allowing your exhalations to represent release, letting go. Letting go of anything that's no longer serving you. Letting go of anything that stands between you and your highest good. Letting go of anything that you're carrying, cares, worries, tensions, concerns that don't serve you in the present moment. Don't serve you right now. Allow yourself to settle a little more. And if your mind wanders, and it may wander because that's what minds do, just notice whether the thoughts are bringing you somewhere nourishing, somewhere supportive, somewhere perhaps a little bit more dysregulating and upsetting. Choose whether to follow your thoughts or bring your awareness, your attention back to your breath. Let your breath be nice and long, deep, slow, and full. And with your exhalations, explore a sighing breath from time to time, a sighing release. Allow those exhalations to represent letting go of attachments, go of anything that's not serving you. And release resting into the quiet, calm, safe space inside. Allow your breaths to continue to be nice and long, deep, slow and full. And you're at home, so there's no need to rush, there's no need to move in a hurry. You can spend as long as you like in this stillness and ease. You can spend as long as you like on your journey back into your day, back into your week. And when you do decide to move, I encourage you to take tiny little movements, little wiggles of fingers and toes, and light ripples of movements up into your ankles, the knees, maybe shifting weight from one hip to the other, ripples of movement from your fingers to your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders and all the way up to your neck. And they can be tiny little movements that perhaps are like micro movements of some of the larger ones that we did earlier. Stretches and yawns and snoozes will all be appreciated and welcomed by your body as well. So you find your way back in your own time. Let that be a slow journey, let it be a nourishing one. And then maybe have a glass of water or some nice herbal tea or whatever it is that is going to just kind of keep you nice and grounded and nurture yourself a little bit more before you move back into jobs and busyness. And keep yourself safe and well and connected to yourself and those around you until we see each other again next week. So for now, namaste. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your practice. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you.